PSG overturns Barcelona and shocks all of Europe. A night that shook Europe. Football has given us countless unforgettable nights, but very few carry the shock value of Paris Saint-Germain's victory over Barcelona at the Camp Nou. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Luis Enrique's side walked into one of the most intimidating arenas in world football and produced a tactical masterclass that dismantled a Barcelona team in full flow. From the start, the stage was set. Barcelona had momentum, their fans were expectant, and their young stars, Pedri and Lamine Yamal, promised brilliance. But what unfolded was a battle of ideas, of tactical discipline versus raw creativity, and ultimately a performance that sent shockwaves across Europe. This deep dive unpacks exactly how PSG overturned Barcelona's control, how key duels defined the match, and why Enrique's adjustments proved decisive in one of the season's most memorable Champions League clashes. Barcelona's early control. Barcelona began with confidence, sticking to a clear identity. Frenkie de Jong dropped between the center-backs to orchestrate play from deep. This allowed the fullbacks to push higher, while Olmo, Rashford, and Yamal positioned themselves to stretch PSG's defensive line. Pedri, as always, was central to their rhythm. He drifted into pockets just behind PSG's first pressing wave, offering calm solutions whenever Barcelona risked being boxed in.
It was Marcus Rashford playing the pass on to Ferran Torres, who made no mistake.
His vision was the key to Barcelona's early success, dictating tempo with precision passes. Time and again, Barca found Lamine Yamal on the right. He was their outlet, their spark. Within the first minute, he glided past 3 defenders with ease and slipped Torres into the box, forcing PSG into desperate defending. His fearlessness at such a young age was breathtaking. This opening spell felt like classic Barcelona. Patient circulation, bursts of creativity from their young talents, and a sense that they could overwhelm PSG with the sheer weight of possession. But beneath the surface, trouble was brewing, as PSG quietly laid their traps, waiting for the right moment to strike. PSG's tactical plan. Luis Enrique had come prepared. He knew Barcelona would dominate possession, so he designed a plan to cut off their brain. That brain was Pedri. To neutralize him, he tasked Warren Zaïre-Emery with relentless shadowing. Wherever Pedri moved, the 18-year-old followed, snapping at his heels with discipline. At the same time, PSG pressed high. Their front line of Mbappe, Ramos, and Barcola squeezed the center-backs, while Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz jumped onto De Jong's outlets. The intention was simple: suffocate Barcelona's build-up and force mistakes under pressure. Enrique's side showed no fear in committing numbers forward. This aggressive press paid dividends. Twice in the opening quarter, Barca nearly conceded possession deep inside their half, only spared by last-ditch touches. Each turnover attempt shook their rhythm, and PSG gained belief. The message was clear: they would not allow Barcelona to settle into their passing game. But the duel that defined the night began on the right flank. Lamine Yamal versus Nuno Mendes, Barcelona's teenage prodigy against PSG's explosive fullback. Every time Yamal received the ball, Mendes was on him instantly, testing his strength, his resilience, and his patience. It was here that the tactical chess match came alive. Key duels of the first half. The match became a story of individual battles, where every clash carried weight and momentum. Pedri versus Zaïre-Emery. Pedri tried to drop deeper to escape his marker. At times, his intelligence won out. One sequence saw him slip free, connect with Yamal, and carve PSG open with a disguised pass that split the lines. But Zaïre-Emery's persistence limited his influence, cutting off the metronome of Barcelona's midfield and forcing others to take creative responsibility. Yamal versus Mendes. The 16-year-old's dribbling was electric. He drove at Mendes with confidence, feinting, spinning, and looking to cut inside. The crowd roared with every touch, expecting magic. But Mendes responded with ferocious tackling, at times forcing Yamal backward into his own half. It was a duel of brilliance versus physicality, and neither gave an inch as the tension grew with every confrontation. Then came Barcelona's breakthrough. Pedri orchestrated a flowing move through Yamal, Olmo, and Torres. Rashford switched play, whipped a ball behind PSG's line, and Torres calmly slotted home with ice-cold composure. Camp Nou erupted in celebration. 1-0, and Barcelona looked set to build on their dominance, with momentum firmly on their side. But PSG struck back. Mendes, growing bolder, surged forward down the left, beat his man, and delivered a perfect ball to Gonzalo Ramos. The striker converted ruthlessly, silencing the crowd in an instant. At 1-1, momentum shifted dramatically, with PSG now carrying belief into into the contest. The final minutes of the first half belonged to PSG. Their press intensified, their confidence grew, and Barcelona suddenly looked rattled. Instead of the calm, controlled rhythm they started with, mistakes began creeping into their play, signaling the storm that awaited in the second half. Enrique's adjustments. The second half revealed the genius of Luis Enrique's coaching. He dropped Fabian Ruiz deeper to support build-up, giving PSG an extra passing option under pressure. Meanwhile, Vitinha pushed higher, dragging Barcelona's midfield apart and creating channels for Mbappe and Barcola to exploit. Hakimi was unleashed on the right flank, making overlapping runs that stretched Barca's defense. This constant width forced Barcelona to chase shadows, opening more gaps centrally. Enrique also managed risk brilliantly. When Mendes flirted with a red card after fouling Yamal, Enrique adjusted immediately, moving him higher and bringing on Lucas Hernandez to stabilize the defense. It was a bold but calculated move, ensuring Mendes' energy could still be used without leaving PSG exposed. These tweaks turned the match. Suddenly, PSG looked comfortable in possession, sharp in transition, and lethal in attack. Barcelona were the ones scrambling for answers. Barcelona's struggles. For Barcelona, the second half was a nightmare. Pedri, once so influential, found himself completely locked out. Vitinha and Ruiz surrounded him, cutting off every passing lane. His frustration was visible as he dropped deeper and deeper, only to find no space. Rashford switched flanks, desperate to change the dynamic. On one occasion, he found Yamal in a one-on-one with Mendes, who had already been booked. Yamal cut inside, went down under Mendes' challenge, and pleaded for a red card. The referee gave a foul, but kept his cards in his pocket. Barca's last lifeline slipped away. Their counters looked blunt, their midfield collapsed under pressure, and their young stars could no longer conjure magic. Instead, Barcelona resorted to long balls and hopeful switches, a far cry from their controlled opening.
From Lee, wonderful play.
PSG's rise to dominance. PSG smelled blood. Vitinha became the heartbeat of the game, dictating tempo with authority. His energy, pressing, and passing created the foundation for PSG's attacks. Every move flowed through him. Hakimi tore down the right wing, dragging defenders wide. Barcola used his pace to penetrate gaps. Ramos pressed relentlessly up top, while Mbappe drifted between the lines, waiting for his moment to strike. The balance was perfect. Discipline in defense, creativity in attack. Every PSG possession felt dangerous. Every transition carried menace. Barcelona were suffocated, their early swagger long gone. By the closing stages, the Camp Nou crowd sat in stunned silence. PSG had not only matched Barcelona, they had dominated them. When the final whistle blew, the story was undeniable. PSG had come to Barcelona and produced a tactical masterclass. It wasn't just about the scoreline, it was about the manner of the victory. Enrique's pressing traps, Mendes' duel with Yamal, Zaïre-Emery's marking of Pedri, and the decisive second-half adjustments all came together to form a performance that will be studied for years. For Barcelona, it was a harsh lesson. Their young stars showed brilliance, but their reliance on individual moments was exposed. Without solutions to PSG's discipline, their system collapsed. For PSG, it was a statement to all of Europe. This is no longer a team of individual stars. Under Luis Enrique, they are a machine built to conquer nights exactly like this. And with this performance, PSG didn't just win a match. They sent shockwaves across Europe, announcing themselves as true contenders for football's biggest prize. If you enjoyed this deep dive into PSG's masterclass, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this victory makes them the favorites for the Champions League? And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more breakdowns of football's biggest moments.